There's no question that Taxi Driver is one of the most influential movies of all time. It took elements of the French New Wave and repackaged it for American consumption. But the style alone is not the reason why it's so enduring. I think it has more to do with the psychological depth of the film, and the character study makes it just as hard-hitting a film today as it was in the mid-70s. Speaking of which, those films from the 1970s, ushering in a period known as New Hollywood, were so gritty, and Taxi Driver may have been the grittiest of them all. Right, so we meet Travis, an ex-Marine, and when all else fails, he turns cab driver to combat his insomnia, and we watch as he spirals deeper into madness, succumbing to his loneliness and feelings of alienation. The beginning of the film chronologizes this descent. He's sleep deprived, he's on a terrible diet, he works long hours to cope with his loneliness. I think a lot of people can relate to this sad state of affairs, but to add insult to injury, he's also his own worst enemy. He works on social hours, he has a solitary job, yes, he drives people around, maybe they engage in some small talk, but I feel like he goes out of his way to pick up the undesirables so he can remain friendless, work in areas not many other cab drivers will work. He pretty much brags about it in the film, like, oh, I'll go anywhere, blah, blah, blah. Then he has a built-in excuse, right, to perpetuate this loneliness that he's so hell-bent on feeling. To other cab drivers, he's aloof, and depending on skin color, he has this quiet hostility. Sometimes he'll go out of his way to eyeball fuck people, so any chance of normalcy he has, he messes it up. He's not misunderstood, he's self-destructive. He wants to belong so bad, but every time he has an opportunity to do so, he screws it up. I would say that the genius of this film is that you find a lot to empathize with. Maybe you can even relate to him. You're like, hey, you know, I feel this kinship to this character, but then by the third act, he betrays you, right? You're like, hey, you know what? I know what this character's going through. You know, I worked the night shift once, I was sleep deprived, I had a terrible diet, you know, but that's where we diverge because none of those factors, not even feelings of alienation, caused us to want to go on like a bloody rampage. I mean, this guy is unhinged. And the change in the film really happens when he sees Betsy. I mean, he says it himself. When he finally plucks up the courage to speak to her, although she's initially uneasy, she agrees to go on a little coffee date with him, right? But he has no charisma whatsoever. He spends most of it talking about Tom, Betsy's colleague from the campaign office, and how he's not right for her. Like, Travis, what the hell are you doing? And by sheer luck, when she agrees to a follow-up date, instead of thanking his lucky stars, he decides, hey, you know what? I'm going to do something really special for this girl who moments ago he was praising and saying she appeared as an angel and all that other stuff. I know, I'll take her to an art house theatre. I can't even believe I can't say the word. Imagine they'd gotten married and Travis Jr. one day, let's just say he's inquisitive, unlike his father, right? He's like, hey, where did Dad take you when you were first getting to know each other? Like, I think it's really ironic for somebody as solitary as Travis, when it comes to corn, he likes to enjoy it in the company of strangers. Pooja, what is this behavior? But then again, as Betsy says, the guy's a walking contradiction. He's socially inept and retarded. Like, what was he even thinking taking her there in the first place? Even when she told him at the entrance that she wasn't comfortable, he just doubled down. Despite the fact that in the coffee shop, he said, nah, I'm not a pusher. And the hypocrisy. How can you, at the start of the film, comment on the decay of society? His eyes are darting all over the place, you know, at these animals, as he puts it. And then when he meets a nice girl, someone classy, who isn't from that world, and then, you know what, he says to himself, okay, I'm gonna take her to the place that literally disgusts me. Because the truth is that despite the repulsion that he feels, he also yearns for it at the same time. And that was the turning point in the movie. The moment we see those dying flowers in the apartment, you know everything went to shit. Then to add insult to injury, he had to go to the campaign office, right, when she wasn't returning his calls, and he made a right mug of himself. And fucking Tom gets to be the hero. Then, that's when desperation sets gets in and he asks Wizard for advice. You know by that point, Travis is a lost cause. Betsy's like, nah, I'm not dealing with your goofy ass anymore. And the initial persistence that had paid off in the past no longer works, right? Because now she just sees him as a creep. It's actually painful to watch him on the phone pleading with her, so much so that the camera tracks away and looks down the corridor. Just the sheer levels of secondhand embarrassment were like way off the charts, right? And if that wasn't enough, my man is truly poetic with his self-destruction, because upon meeting Iris, he decides to speak to Sport, her pimp, the guy who tore her away from her family. That could have ended the same way his attempt at Palentine's life ended. Imagine he just says, yeah, I'm interested, and immediately gets pounced on by police officers investigating that kind of illegal activity. Like, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna say now? Like, oh, I was trying to save her, as if they would buy that. If anything, he fits the bill. Had this assassination attempt not been foiled, he would have been detested, but because he took out a pimp and saved a child, he gets to become a hero and an example of a model citizen, right? That's the point. But that's the great irony of the movie. He went and he bought all those guns to try and assassinate a presidential candidate, and when he botched it up, like he does with everything, you know, he was like, shit, I didn't do all those push-ups and pull-ups for nothing. I'm taking someone out. All those rounds at the gun range gone and fucked up my chest of drawers, like as Denzel Washington says when his Oscar hopes were crushed.
I see a big tray. I'm like, I'm leaving here with something.